Good evening, students. Welcome back to your add-on course on Structured Query Language SQL. In our previous session, that was an introductory session. I have introduced you this special course, Structured Query Language. We have seen the course outcomes, the syllabus discussion, and what topics we are going to cover. How many sessions we are going to cover, and the importance of data, data manipulation, and the uh, the outcome, what exactly we'll gain once we complete this course, and what tools we are going to use. All those things we discussed. So quickly, this is our first session because I told you whatever we had the discussion in your introductory session, that I'm not going to consider as a class. Okay, it was just an introduction class. Okay, from now on we are counting the sessions, so this will be your first session hopefully. So in this, some hands-on training also I'm going to give on database manipulation, how we do the database manipulation with the help of this structured query language or SQL, that we will see in today's session. So quickly, without much ado, I will start the session. So let's just have this overview. So SQL, what exactly it is? So SQL is a language of database. So you remember this one. SQL is a language of database. Whenever you want to interact with the database, we need a language. So that language is nothing but your structured query language SQL. Okay. So in what way we will interact with the database, in the sense we will create the database, we will delete the database, we will fetch some of the information from the database. Okay, creation, deletion, fetching. Okay, and not only this thing, after once you have created, you can even modify that existing database. So with that, we can do the creation, we can do the deletion, we can do the fetching, as well as we can do the updation. So four different things we can consider: creation, deletion, retrieval, that is fetching is nothing but retrieval, and modify, updation is nothing but modify. Okay, so these things we can expect from a database. So yeah, what SQL, this language, it has been standardized by the ANSI, isn't it? American National Standards Institute, ANSI we used to call it as. And this SQL, it has been standardized by the ANSI people. So it is an ANSI standard. You remember that one. It is an organization which is used to give standards to different inventions, different research works likewise. So this SQL, structured query language, is also got the standardization from the ANSI people, American National Standards Institute. Okay, but there are many different versions. It is not the only version what we discuss as part of this add-on course. There are different versions of SQL, and if you learn one, believe me, whatever is your domain you are going to work, whatever is your area that you are going to work, or whatever your organization you are going to work, if they have some different type of SQL, or if they have some different type of application to work with, the queries what we are going to discuss as part of this add-on course, they will remain the same with slight changes. Okay, at least. Okay, nevertheless, at least you will have an idea of how a database language will look like and how to work with a database language. Okay, you will gain that idea, and believe me, in further slides, I'm going to give the importance of Oracle database so that you will come to know. Okay, so in today's world, data is everything. Many times I told you this thing. We have data everywhere, we have raw data everywhere, and data is everything, and data is gaining popularity. The manipulation of data is gaining popularity, and the person who knows how to deal with data, definitely he is going to be in a good position in the near future. So that is the reason why we are stressing this much, and we are giving this much importance to these type of courses where we are going to handle the data in a proper way. Okay, so in today's world, data is everything, but managing it, one has to in order to manage it, one has to master the art of data management. Okay, so as part of that mastery, as part of that artwork only, we have all these courses in our hand. Okay, so already we completed Excel. Now we are with SQL very soon. I mean, after the completion of this, again we are planning few more courses as part of this big data analytics course. And our intention, it is very clear, when you come to second year second semester or third year second semester, by that time you have to have the complete knowledge of what big data analytics is, how to do the data analytics. By the time you have to know, you should be able to understand the trending technologies by that time. And moreover, directly, as I said many times, directly going to those technologies and learning those technologies, it is very difficult. Slightly we have to feed all those things. So that is the reason why we are having all these basics. And in my last introductory session also, I told you, along with these tools and techniques, you have to learn two different programming languages, and that you can start once you complete the C language. The first one is the Python and the second one is the R programming. You focus more on these two programming languages. Once you complete the C language, immediately I start the Python language. And if you need any sort of guidance with me, I'm ready to help you in order to learn those Python and R programming. Okay. So in today's world, data is everything, but to manage it, one has to master the art of data management. Okay. So to play with the data or the database, we need to know the language that is understood by these databases, and that language is nothing but your SQL, believe me. Okay. So definitely, as you want to play with the data, as you want to play with the databases, in order to manipulate, in order to do the insertion, in order to do the deletion, creation, modifying, all these things, in order to do what you have to do, you have to understand what the database will understand, what language the database will understand, in what way you can communicate with that database. So that is nothing but with the help of SQL, structured query language, we can have the interaction with the database, we can communicate with the database. Okay, we can give our instructions to the database so that the database will give the response to you. Hopefully you understood. So SQL is a core of relational type database. I mean, what exactly this relational type database, very soon we will understand. Okay, so it is the core. I mean, using this SQL only, you can interact with the relational database. There is no other way. Okay, because of its huge popularity, and believe me, SQL is one of the prominent language in order to interact with the database. Okay, it is used by most companies in today's world, in today worldwide. So all over the world, not only in a particular region or not only in a particular organization, but this SQL, or in short, I mean, previously it used to called as SQL. Okay, and that history also we will see. So SQL or SQL, these two, I mean, same. SQL means, SQL means, they are the same. These two are just the different names. Okay, they will represent the same thing, they are just the name difference. Okay, so SQL is a core of relational type database. So without this SQL knowledge, it is not possible to interact with the relational databases. Because of its huge popularity, it is giving, I mean, most of the companies all over the world, they are using nowadays. Nowadays the SQL is used by many prominent companies all over the world. And what exactly this SQL? Okay, so SQL, uh, it is an abbreviation. I mean, it is a short form for structured query language. Okay, so structured query language, if you abbreviate it, we call it as an SQL. It is a language used to perform actions. I mean, what type of actions we can perform using this language, in the sense we can update the database, retrieve the database, manipulate, store, create, all these type of data, I mean, data manipulation operations we can perform on relational databases with the help of this structured query language, SQL. Okay, SQL is the standard language for relational database systems. In order to access, in order to modify, in order to manipulate your relational database systems, there is no other way other than using this SQL. Okay, so all relational database management systems, like, I mean, we have different database management systems. Okay, database management systems in the sense, I mean, the systems which are helpful in managing the data. So database management systems are nothing but the systems which are helpful in managing the data. So all these database management systems, they use SQL as a language to accomplish their task. So basically what the database management system will do means it will manages the data, isn't it? The application, the database management system, it is an application which manages the data, which maintains the databases, which maintains the databases. So in order to do the maintenance of these databases, definitely they need to have a particular type of language, and that particular type of language is nothing but your SQL, structured query language. And we have many prominent different types of database management systems around the world, like your MySQL, MS Access, Oracle, Sybase, Informix, Postgres, and SQL Server. Okay, all these databases, they use SQL as their language to maintain the databases. Okay, SQL as their language to maintain the databases. So what are those? Once again, we'll have the list: your MySQL, your MS Access, Microsoft Access, Oracle, then Sybase, then Informix, Postgres, and SQL Server. Okay, you go to any of these database management systems. All these are database management systems which are helpful in managing the data or managing the databases, maintaining the databases. So all these database management systems, they use SQL as their language. SQL as their language. Okay. So SQL is the standard database language. In that way you remember. SQL is the standard database language. Okay, if you change, I mean, if you change the management system, database management system, like suppose if you change your management system from Oracle to MySQL, the queries will slightly change. The queries will slightly change, but the language standard is same. It is SQL only. It is SQL only, structured query language only. There also we are going to frame the instructions in the same way how we are framing the instructions in Oracle. The only difference is there will be a slight change in writing the commands and doing the manipulations. Rest of all the things, believe me, they are like standards. They are like standards. Standards means that doesn't change from one database management system to the other database management system. Okay, so quickly, history of SQL, if you see, it was developed, I mean, SQL, structured query language, it was developed in the year 1970. I mean, during the 1970s, basically, we have to say. Okay, during 1970s, the complete evolution of these structured query language has been done by, I mean, it was developed at IBM, okay, International Business Machines, IBM in the sense, by Donald D. Chamberlain. He's one of the person, and the second person is Raymond F. Bayes. Okay, Raymond F. Bayes. These two people, they contributed their effort, you know, in the development of this structured query language at IBM in the year 19. I mean, it was a continuous work. It was not we don't have any specific date where the evolution has been done. So it is a continuous effort they played during 1970s. We have to remember in this way. During 1970s, SQL was developed at IBM by Donald D. Chamberlain and Raymond F. Bayes. Okay, so it was initially called as SQL, as I just give this other name of SQL. Okay, it was initially, earlier it was called as a SQL. The reason for calling it as a SQL is, see, SQL abbreviation, if you see, S stands for structured. Again, over here also S stands for structured, and E stands for English, structured English query language. The term English is been added. Okay, the term, no, I mean, removed, we have to say, because now we are using SQL, right? Previously it was known to as SQL. So structured English query language, previous name, the old name, we can say structured English query language, and nowadays it is called as SQL, and previously it was well known like SQL. Even now, when we go to this NoSQL, there is another version. I mean, in order to manipulate the unstructured data, because whatever data we manipulate over here using SQL, it should be structured data. And very soon I will give you the difference between structured and unstructured data. Okay, so in order to manipulate the unstructured data, we have another language with name NoSQL or NoSQL. NoSQL or NoSQL. There, everything we do on an unstructured database. We do on an unstructured data set. Moreover, more likely we have to call it as data set. So NoSQL, we do it on unstructured data, but whereas this SQL or SQL, we do it on structured data. Remember that one. So SQL, structured English query language, and but later it was changed to SQL. Okay, so because SQL was a trademark, I mean, the reason for changing SQL to SQL, because there was another prominent company, okay, with name this SQL. Okay, it is an engineering based company, UK based engineering company with the same name SQL as their trademark, and it is very prominent company in UK they had at that time. So that is the reason why the name changed from SQL to SQL. There was no other reason basically. So it was initially called as SQL, Structured English Query Language. In short, SEQUEL, SQL. Okay, they gave this name, but later they came to know that there is another prominent UK based engineering company was there, whose name also, whose trademark also like SQL. So that is the reason why what they have done, they changed the name from SQL to SQL. So nowadays it will be known as, well known as, SQL only. Okay, SQL is said to be a powerful language as it is uses very simple English sentences. So when you write the queries in English, I mean SQL, at that point you will realize that it is more like framing the statements in English. It is very near to English, and whatever commands we give in SQL, they are mostly like English commands. It is unlike your C language, what we are doing. C language, it is, I mean, more or the less, many standard formats we follow, many standard keywords we follow, and many times the keywords, it is completely different than what we are exactly doing. But moreover, when you do SQL, when you do querying in SQL, believe me, whatever queries you will write, all those queries will write same like English statements. Okay, more or the less, they will be same like your English sentences, I have to say. English sentences. Okay, SQL is said to be powerful. Because of this reason only, SQL is said to be powerful, because one lame person, he can easily become a SQL professional, we can say. There is no prerequisite, as we have seen. We just need to have the enthusiasm to learn this SQL language. That is the reason why, without any prerequisite, we have started this add-on course parallel to your regular academics in the first semester itself. Hope you understood this difference. Okay, so if there is a prerequisite, if there is that you have to learn C language or you have to learn C++, then only we can start the SQL. In the sense, believe me, we would have waited till that time. Okay, we would have waited till that time, because as there is no prerequisite in order to start this SQL, that is the reason why we were having this add-on course in the first semester itself. Okay, so SQL is said to be powerful language as it uses very simple English like sentences, and also uses very few lines of code, and we don't have to write lines of code in order in SQL. We'll write simple instructions. When we start coding, when we start querying, at that point you will understand. Okay, very simple statements we will write, and very simple coding will do, hardly not more than like many of the times basic queries, they will go up to 2-3 lines. But if you go to complex like procedures, or complex some what we call joining operations, creating views, at that point, at some point the queries will go more than 10 lines. Okay, but believe me, nevertheless, basic queries, they will be like 1-2 lines only. Okay, so it uses very common words. I mean, like what meaning we have for the words, what meaning we have in English, the same meaning we have in SQL also. Okay, all the commands in your SQL, they will be like select. If you want to select something from a table, we use a word like select, and select means selecting only, isn't it? In English also it is having the same meaning, and in SQL also it is having the same meaning. Like, in order to create something, we use the command create. So create, in the sense we are creating some new thing in English, isn't it? The same meaning here also in SQL. update, you're updating something, you're changing something, alter, you're altering something. Then, and many more. I mean, like this, all the commands, whatever we use in SQL, they are having the same meaning in English as well as in SQL. That is the reason why learning SQL is very easy. If you're good in English, if you know how to frame the sentences and all in English, believe me, it is very easy for you to write the SQL queries, and you can become a master in SQL. Okay, so it's and many more to perform its core functionalities. Whatever core functionalities we are performing, whatever procedures we are writing, all those things will write simple English like statements only. Will not do any complex what we call a coding part, and we don't need to remember any some keywords or some structured procedures. All those things are predefined stuff, all those things in order to code the queries in SQL. It is very easy. Okay, so yeah, the features of SQL, if you see, I don't believe that this thing is visible to you. I don't mind, never mind, because I have kept this thing in your next slide as well, because maybe my video is overlapping over here. So the students don't just bother. I have kept all these things like statements in my next slide as well. So features of SQL. So SQL has well-defined standards. Okay, SQL is easy to learn. This is also one of the feature, and with the help of SQL, one can create views as well as multiple views we can create. And portability of code in SQL is a prominent feature. Portability also there when you're writing the code in SQL. That means whatever code you're writing in one machine, and that same code if you're writing in another machine, you can expect the same output. Okay, with the environment setup, whatever environment setup you are doing in the first system, the same environment setup you have to do in the second system. We'll discuss all these features in detail. The first feature we are saying, SQL has well defined standards. So as developers of SQL, whoever developed this SQL language, they have clearly mentioned how exactly each and every query has to be written. So there is a standard format for writing the queries, even though we are using English like statements, but you cannot push whatever you have in your mind, I mean, without any standard or without any format. There must be some format, there must be some standards we need to follow. Believe me, following that standard is also very easy. Understanding that standard also very easy. Okay, there is no room for any ambiguity. That's what I said. There is no confusion. Whatever standards, whatever format we are using, there is no confusion. One time feeding, believe me, one time feeding is enough. If you see the formats, if you see the coding one time, second time you will do it by your own. Okay, so there is no room for any ambiguity when it comes to writing a query. Okay, there is no ambiguity. You will easily understand, and there will be no confusion when you are doing the same thing for the second time. Okay, the standard has to be followed. And yes, even though we are writing English like statements, even though they are same like they are having the same meaning like how we frame it in English, but we have to follow some standards when we are I mean when we are writing queries in SQL. Okay, SQL is easy to learn. The second feature of SQL is it is very easy to learn. So the reason, many times we already discussed, SQL is a language used to work with the databases. So with the SQL, basically what we are doing means we are working with databases. So since SQL has a very large user base and well-defined standards for a beginners, it is really easy to learn. Okay, for beginners, I mean, if you are a beginner, if you are starting this SQL as a beginner, it is very easy for you to learn. Okay, a simple English like commands is an added advantage which makes it more easier to learn. So as I said, all statements whatever we are writing like English like statements. It is an added advantage in your SQL, and which makes it more easier to learn. So with the help of SQL, one can create multiple views. We can create multiple views by using SQL. So what exactly is a view and how we can create that view, it will come in our discussion because it is a part of our syllabus and it is an advanced concept in SQL, and without the basics I don't want you to feed much about these views. Okay, views, what are these? In the sense, it is a technique, it is a powerful technique of data visualization. Just remember how we are visualizing the data, or how we are retrieving the data, or how we are taking specific data from from an Excel sheet with the help of pivot tables, we said, isn't it? How we are retrieving the specific data in an Excel sheet, in the sense with the help of pivot tables. So here these views, you can consider them as similar to your pivot tables in MS Excel. So views are same, like, similar to your pivot tables. Similar to your pivot tables. And pivot tables are helpful in retrieving the specific data. More or the less, your views will also do the same job. They are helpful in retrieving the specific data from raw data. So it is also a manipulation technique, isn't it? It is also a manipulation technique, data manipulation technique. And views is just one such type. In SQL, we have many such visualization techniques. We have many such visualization techniques, or we have many such data retrieval options that we are going to practice throughout this add-on course. Okay, SQL allows us to create multiple views, not a single view. We can create multiple views. Views are one of the unique and early feature of the SQL came up with. Okay, it is an early feature. Views is nothing but creating a virtual table, and it is a powerful technique of data virtualization or data visualization. So here it should come data visualization, not virtualization. Okay, views are nothing but it is a powerful technique for creating data visualization. Okay, a virtual table is a temporary table for certain use. Okay, virtual table, if you do any modifications to that virtual table, if you do any updations, any deletions on anything you are changing in that one, that won't affect the actual physical table. Okay, so that is the reason why we are calling it as a virtual table, and it is having its own priority, its own importance in SQL. Okay, by creating virtual tables, we can protect the integrity of the data. So as the data in your physical table or actual table, it is consistent, it is unchanged, in that way we are maintaining the data integrity. What is data integrity? In the sense, see, data integrity is something, whatever manipulations you are doing, whatever transactions you are doing, they have to go in a what we call it, transparent manner. I will give you one simple example of this data integrity. So let us suppose we have a bank. We have a bank where some 100 customers are there, 100 what we call account holders are there with their bank balances. Isn't it? Why we are storing, why we are saving our amount, why we are storing our amount in a bank, in the sense because we trust the bank. Okay, we trust the integrity of that bank. So that is the reason why we are saving our amount in a bank. So let us assume if the bank is not having the integrity, do we save our amount over there? No, it is not possible. So integrity in the sense, whatever amount you are having inside your account, when you are doing the withdraw, let us suppose you are withdrawing like 1,000 rupees from your account. So it has to reflect that 1,000 only. Immediately it has to show the remaining bank balance, and it has to deduct only 1,000 rupees when you are withdrawing 1,000 rupees from your account. And this is called data integrity. This is called data transparency. But if you are withdrawing thousands and it is showing the deduction like 5,000, is there any integrity of the data? No, it is not at all. Your database management system, it is not showing us the data integrity. So it will be a problem, isn't it? It will be a problem. So because of that reason, data integrity plays a vital role. And this views concept, it is one of the technique to achieve this data integrity on your databases. Okay, so SQL also support not only the single views, but we can create multiple views as well. So SQL do support the creation of multiple views. Okay, then portability of the code, the last feature of your SQL. Okay, the last feature of your SQL is portability. So see, well-defined standards, easy to learn. These icons itself gives the meaning over here. So the well-defined standards, the right mark, it is showing that whatever standards we are having, they are well-defined. Then learning, here the person is doing some learning job, isn't it? So learning is very easy. And this thing, views, is nothing but retrieving or copying the data. Okay, creating temporary tables, creating virtual tables, creating views, doing data visualization. All these are nothing but possible with the help of SQL, and these are all features of your SQL. And finally, the portability, carrying this briefcase, it is showing. When you are saying portability, it is showing the briefcase. That means you can carry the code from one system to another system, and it will not give, believe me, it will not give any difference. You will get the same result, you will get the same output, how you have written on one system and how you have written in the second system. And The SQL queries are portable in nature. We are saying they are portable in nature. It means we can execute the SQL query in one system and execute the same query in another system without changing the format. Okay, without changing the format, without changing anything, you can execute the same query how you have written in one system into another system as well. Okay, but the condition is the environment setup of these two systems has to be same. Whatever environment setup we are doing, like whatever SQL environment we are having in one system, the same environment we are expecting into another system as well, into other system as well. Then only you will get the accurate result, or then only your SQL query will support the portability option. Okay, so these four are the features, like features of your SQL. The first one is SQL has well defined standards and SQL is easy to learn. With the help of SQL we can create multiple views, and the portability of the code in SQL is prominent feature. Okay, portability of the SQL code is one of the prominent feature of your SQL. Okay, so these are all features of SQL. Then we have to see, okay, what is a data and what is a database. These two things we have to understand, because uh, um, we are going to do more functionality, or we are going to do more practice on these two things only. The one is data, the one on database. So what is data? So these are all values. These are all values, or these are all some what we call um, results. Okay, if you are doing some temperature analysis of a particular region, isn't it, minute to minute you have to do, hour to hour you have to do, season to season you have to do. So when you are doing this type of survey on temperature on a particular area, at the end what you will get, you will get values only, isn't it? You will get values only. On so and so date, on so and so time, the temperature was this much, isn't it? On so and so date and so time, the temperature of a particular area is this much. Likewise, we are going to have only the values. Okay, that is nothing but your data. Data is nothing but only the values. Okay, to some people it will be useful. Okay, to some people it will be useful, and to some people it will be useless. But believe me, we are completely surrounded with data nowadays. Everything is data over here. Everything is data. If you are going to an office, in whatever type of office it is, whatever type of office it is, whether it is a normal what we call government office, or if you are going to an hi-fi MNC or something, everywhere we are going to see the data. Everywhere we are going to see the data. Okay, so even if it is a departmental store, or if it is a shopping mall, or it is a or if it is a movie theater, or if it is an hospital, or if it is in some department of the government, like fire department, police department. Okay, everywhere, everywhere we are going to have the data. Okay, definitely when we are talking about the police department or the defense department, they have to maintain the crime record, they have to maintain the what we call um, the the growth, or the uh, decrease of the crimes, all those things. I mean, based on some data only, based on some values only, based on some records only, they are going to do the prediction, isn't it, in future, how the crime rate in a particular region is going to be, whether it is going to increase or whether it is going to decrease. Based on some evaluation only they will do, and that evaluation how they are doing means based on data only. So everywhere, take an hospital, how the patients, I mean, approaching the hospital, are they approaching frequently, more frequently, or less frequently? With what they are going to know all these things? by doing the data analysis only they are going to, isn't it? By doing the data analysis only they are going to give that type of information. And the the recent pandemic what we have in our society, in our world, like COVID-19, I mean um, the data analysis or the data prediction, data analytics, all these played a vital role in order to understand the growth, or in order to understand the intensity of this COVID-19, isn't it? So how the patients of this COVID-19 are increasing, or how this COVID-19 is spreading all over the world, in order to understand that one, the data analytics played a vital role. Okay, so that is the reason why this technology manipulation, data manipulation is I mean gaining day by day, it is gaining more and more popularity, more and more what we call importance. Okay, so values from different sources, data is nothing but it is values from different sources which has been translated for some purpose, and this purpose can be anything. So there is no fixed point, or there is no fixed source that we can say from here only we can expect the data. Okay, we can expect the data from any point, and we can what we call do the translation of data whatever is our intended purpose. Okay, whatever is our intended purpose, we can do the translation of the data into our domain as well. Okay, so sources for the data can be like temperature reading, financial data, videos, blogs, social media, IoT devices all over the world. All these things, they are different sources of data. So here I have given how many different types of data we can have in our, they are just the what we call an abstract view we are giving, we are not discussing into detail. So geographical, okay, all over the world, what are borders, what are countries, what are capitals, so that data we are having, that sort of data we call it as geographical data. How the temperature at a particular location, whether it is increasing or decreasing. Okay, how the what we call rainfall in a particular region, how the winter season in a particular region, all those geographical data we can have. And then cultural data, okay, different activities, different events, sports, all these things we are conducting. Okay, um, games, sports, cultural events, that sort of data we can have. Scientific data, we are day to day we are doing a lot of research work in the area of this science domain. So all that data comes under scientific data. Then financial, we have markets, shares, debentures, share markets. Okay, value of a company is going up, value of a company is going down, all these type of tactics, records we are maintaining. So that is nothing but your financial data. Statistics, in mathematics a lot of research is going on, that meteorology, okay, and nature, transport, all these are different sources for your data. Okay, so now what is database? So database is an organized collection of data. Okay, so database is an organized collection of data. Whatever data we have, will maintain the data in an organized manner, and we call it as an database. Database is a location from where the data is stored, accessed electronically using a computer system. So here you can see, if generally in order to represent the database we use these type of cylinders. Okay, these type of cylinders we use. Okay, and they are the storage for data, they are the storage for data, and we call them as databases. So you can perform with the help of a computer system, you can store the data into it, you can retrieve the data, and you can manipulate the data, you can manipulate the data. So in order to understand the difference between data and database, we can take the example of a library example. So we can call the library as a database because it is having so many different types of data stored in it, so many different types of books, where every book represents a particular data item, isn't it? Where every book, it represents a particular data item, and we are having the different domain data inside a library. Like we'll be having computer science related books, then we'll be having civil engineering, mechanical engineering, Not only this, we have arts like your MBA, okay, your B.Ed, all these type of books we are maintaining at a central location, and we are calling it as a library. So we can treat that library as a database, and every individual book as a data record. Every individual book as a data. Okay, so yeah, in that way you can remember the database and the data term. Then we have very popular like databases which are widely used today all over the world. So of course we said we're gonna use the Oracle SQL Oracle database to do the SQL. But not only Oracle, we have different types of databases, database management systems all over the world. The first, I mean, some of them I have listed over here. So MongoDB, it is an unstructured data manipulation software. If you have unstructured data, unstructured databases, so to manipulate that one, we use this MongoDB. Okay, so it is a typical application in your NoSQL, we can say. It is a typical application in your NoSQL. So in order to do the NoSQL or NoSQL. So right now we are doing SQL, isn't it? So in order to do NoSQL, you can go for MongoDB. Then we have PostgreSQL, Postgres. We call it as in short Postgres, but it is PostgreSQL. Okay, we have Microsoft Access, we have Microsoft SQL Server, MySQL, and Oracle database. Oracle database that we are going to use in this